right. How is everybody? Welcome to Guitar Hunter Live. Let me make sure everything's up and running here. There are a handful of us in here. All right. Everything looks good on this end. Give me a thumbs up that everything is going. All right. So, Master Macheteer? Oh, got it. Master Machete. The person who uses a machete. American Professional Strat 2. Love this guitar. Plugged into, so my overdrive is a Mythos Herculean, a V1, and then a Boss DD3, an MXR analog chorus, and then a Hall of Fame Mini. I'm in the process of like getting ready to really build out a big guitar, like a big effects board. I've always fought this. My whole, like, I'm changing how I operate my life. Forever, I've just really been committed to being scrappy and DIY. Like, those are the two things that I really grew up in. And I'm finding that it doesn't serve me well. So one of the ways it doesn't serve me the least well, one of the ways it affects me the most and the most adversely is that most of my microphones have just been hand-me-downs. I've bought a handful of mics, but in the last 2 weeks, my SM57 broke and my overhead, my Deity, which actually bought that one new, and it broke. So it's made making videos this week complicated because I filmed a couple things and everything was really clippy. Anyway, yeah, so that's generally what's going on this week. And yeah, it was super fun. What else is going on in our world? It's getting nice. It feels like spring outside. Getting to go hang out a lot more. Went to the lake the other day. There's a lake close to us. We got to walk around. My kids got to play on like a giant excavator. That was super fun. And yeah. So, oh, and there was also, it was going into my Tone Master, and then Tone Master direct in to the DI, which that is awesome. I can go straight from that, and I have a little bit of volume here so that I can get I have a little bit of volume so I can hear it because the monitor is like 7 seconds delayed if I'm watching the stream here. So it throws me off and it's chaos. But I have a little bit of room noise. But yeah, I really like that. My mic looks like it's clipping just the tiniest bit. Yeah, the Tone Master. I'll play it a little more. It's just a monster. It really is. So I'm also, the volume is all the way down, or the attenuation is all the way down. So it's playing at a 7, but it's at the lowest volume. This guitar feels a little buzzy. Maybe I need to... Oh yeah, this thing's got a little positive bow now. That's funny. It just changed. I've had this guitar since it was new. It came out, last summer? August, September. Yeah, so yeah, turn the volume down over there, and oh man, that's so fun. So this is the blackface Tone Master. If I move, you can see it back here. Yeah, down there. I don't know, I'm curious, the blonde one just doesn't have the bright switch, basically, like it is kind of interesting that they built it on the modern circuit, not necessarily on the vintage circuit with the bright switch. But anyway, so hey, everybody in Norway, how cool is that? Frode? How do you pronounce that? Oh boy, I'm gonna get myself in trouble if I try and pronounce people's names. Tuba Dylan. I'm sorry for Tuba. Tuba Dylan. From Charlotte. My little brother lives in Charlotte. Do you know him? His name's Justin. He's like about my height, but darker hair. You might know him. I don't know. Whoa, Ian. Holy cow. Ian got a Husson Dalton for his 50th birthday. Go Virginia. Go Ian. That's super exciting. I got my first Husson Dalton for my 21st birthday. Got it a little early. I think I got it in, like, my birthday's in June. I think I got mine in May. But Husson Dalton makes a freaking mean guitar. I want more Husson Daltons. I have one. I would love two more. One more. One for sure that I'm working on. And, it's been forever. So, anyway, so today I'm going to be rating guitars. I'm going to be looking through stuff. I'm going to be giving my opinions. I don't totally know how to do it. I'm not going to say anything mean or critique stuff, but I will just say what I know about things. So, Bob Brown in Richmond, Virginia, I assume. Dallas, Texas, survived the storm. Yeah, man, it got real. Shadi's in Cairo. How fun. Good to see you, man. Tuba Allen asked if I've ever played a Blueberry guitar. I have not. What are my thoughts on the Fender Paramount PM1 Adirondack Limited Edition? I haven't played one. I really like the most recent iteration of Fender acoustics. I've played a couple of the Paramount series. I think they're really good construction. I think they're finally kind of turning the corner. Fender had a pretty good track record of like buying cool acoustic guitar companies that I like and then driving them into the ground. Think Tacoma, think Guild, think Day Armand doesn't really count as an acoustic guitar company. But Connecticut, Boston, a Yamaha, 73 Yamaha FG360, killer. Great guitar, sounds great. They play kind of hard. There's not a ton you can do to change the playability, but really rad guitars. What's my favorite tone, wood, and why? Okay, so let's do Raymond. What's up, Raymond? Chub is here. Chewbacca himself. So, this week is all about reviewing guitars, and so a bunch of people sent them to me, and unfortunately, there were more than I'm going to be able to get through, but I put a bunch here in the software, so I'll be able to load through them, and we'll talk through them. And then let's do announcements first, and then at the end we'll do Q&A. So hang around. If you have questions, I will answer as many as I can in the hour and 15. Who am I kidding? This rarely ends on time, but why should it? It's super fun. It's the best way to end a week. And I'm always very thankful for you guys. Okie doke. Can I put this? Is there a place for me to put this that you can't see it? Nope. It bothers me. So I've been trying to stick to a motto that my old boss used to always tell me, which is clear desk, clear mind. Because I always fall prey to like flat surfaces are storage spaces, and then I just get to have no place to do anything, and I have to move stuff. And so anyway, we're getting there. Life is good. Okay. Reed is in Nashville. Nash Vegas. I used to have a t-shirt that said Nash Vegas. All right, so updates. There are a handful of bags of coffee left. I think there are 3 or 4 bags of coffee left. If you want, so go to jeremytheguitarhunter.com/shop. You can buy the coffee. That was roasted last week. Delicious, wonderful coffee. I don't get to have any coffee, so I gave up coffee for Lent, which Lent is not about like punishing yourself, but it is about making space. And so one of the things that I do all the time is I drink coffee. So now I've made space to pick up new skills and to make time to hunger and thirst for the right things. So anyway, coffee is for sale. I dropped the price. It's $17 and $3 for shipping. So it is delicious, wonderful. I'm going to go film some stuff with them here soon. Broad Porch, they're growing, they're expanding. If you go to their website, they're not going to have it because it's just a thing that I sell directly through my website. Anyway, all that to say, go buy some coffee. It is wonderful and delicious. And enjoy it for me. And, Raphael got it. Okay. Number 2. Oh, man. Shoddy, I saw your question. I'll get there, I promise. Number 2, t-shirts. So I restocked on red shirts, black shirts, and there are now blue limited edition Sonic Blue shirts. They're all in the store on the website, jeremytheguitarhunter.com/shop. If you want t-shirts, go there. And then the last thing, this video is brought to you by my patrons, and I can't do this without them. So thanks to my Ride or Die patrons, Adam, Andy, Tom, Jose, and oh my goodness, Gary. Thank you. This is wonderful. Thank you so much. If you want to become a patron, go to patreon.com/guitarhunter. All right. Hey-oh. Look at that. Zach just jumped in. Zach, I'm playing my Herc on the floor here. It sounds so good. Thanks for fixing that, man. So today I want to talk about your guitars and gear. People sent me guitars. So this would be super fun. It's so cool. I feel like you learn so much about who somebody is by what choices they make of like what guitars, especially when you get 2 or 3 guitars together. So let's jump in. This might be, no, I'm going to stay optimistic. This will be great. Okay. So tell me if this is, I may have to move these around a little bit. Let me move that up. And I'll make it a little bigger. So this is a super cool rig. I'm going to pull them up on my phone too so I can look at them here on the bigger screen. So hold on, where'd everything go? Oh boy, it's chaos. All right, we're in business here. Okay, cool, man. Okay, so this looks like, I forget who sent this. Some of them have names, some don't. I'm sorry. There's a super rad Jazzmaster over here. This cool blue Jazzmaster. Cool synth up above. We'll go over to the pedal board here in a second. What's this, a rose gold? Looks like maybe an American Special. That Telecaster. And then this thing with that logo and those tuners. That white Strat, that thing is cool. So Parchment Guard. Looks like, yeah. That logo makes me think it's a 60s reissue. That is a super rad setup. I like the dog toy. Shows that you have a dog. I want a dog. We used to have a dog. Is that an HX Stomp? That's awesome. I want an HX Stomp a lot. Zach makes me want one the most. Especially his new shreddy metally stuff. And then is that a Volante? That's a super rad pedal. And I don't know. Wait, maybe that's an HX Stomp on this left side. Anyway, that's a super cool setup over here. Oh, it's American Performer in copper. Awesome. Yes. Oh, is this? Yeah, this is your set, an American original Strat. That's killer. Such a good setup. Jose. Greg is here. Everybody's here. That's so fun. Cool. Hey, Joseph Lorge. We'll talk about that. That's, yeah, man, what a great story. I'm so thankful to be a part of getting that D28 back to Raymond and to Joshua. Joshua is so funny. If you don't follow, go check out Joshua Loves Bluegrass. That little maniac. He's so funny. Hey, Dave Thomas. Which Dave Thomas? Dave, like I used to work for, Dave Thomas? That might be my old boss on here. So now, let's move to our next... What the? Okay, hang on. I'm trying to get fancy. Like I said, every week I try to make things better. And okay, there we go. All right, so now this is somebody's. This is a cool Lake Placid Strat. Cool rug. So this is Rob's Knobs. What a name. So Rob's Knobs on Instagram. Oh, this is a Squire. This is a made in Japan. This is such a cool. What? Zach, that's the best, man. What a friend. Zach just gave this 10 out of 10 shoils, which I'm trying to avoid, Anyway, that is so cool. Dave Thomas from Reps. How cool is that? Good to see you, Dave. I'm glad you're here. Yes. Man, so good. Okay. Man, this is a good day. So this is a made in Japan. I would assume this is like a 60s reissue. Very, very cool. So I had one of these a couple years ago that was, it was covered in all those stickers.
And so it was I thought it was just, I knew it was a made in Japan. I thought it was a Fender, but it ended up being a Squier, but it's just such amazing quality. And so this was just so cool. And so I got it. I removed all the stickers, but this one is just right in there. All of those made in Japan Strats and Tellys are just shooting up in value because they are such an amazing like hidden gem, and you can still find them. Like these, there are a lot of these still in pawn shops. I guarantee pawn shops, antique malls. You'll find these because they were kind of entry level and student models like 20 years ago, 30 years ago. My pink Paisley's an 85. I paid a lot more than that. But then there's others that you can get just for such good prices. So made in Japan Strats and Tellys are just monsters. So I think there's some others in here. Look at this monster. This is a, what did he say this was? It's a 65. Let me click over to Instagram and go through my messages. I'm very glad that I got such a response to this. Oh boy. Come on. Don't die now, Instagram. Okay, I gotta find this this Jazzmaster because it's awesome. Paul, nope. Here it is, Brian Baker. So this is super cool. This is a 62 blonde slabboard Jazzmaster. Holy cow, how cool is this thing? If you haven't played an old Jazzmaster, you haven't lived. They are so cool and inspiring, and they sound totally different. That's what's interesting is like most people, like you've played plenty of Tellys and plenty of Strats, but to get into like a Jazzmaster, a Jaguar, a Music Man, all of those, they're so cool. Brian, this is your guitar. Brian, this thing is a monster. Where did you find it? What's the story on this? Because I think in here, these pictures are a little out of order. So there's another picture we'll come back to here in the back. Let me run through real quick. Not that it matters. But on, I'll just give my quick, I'll give my basic, no, is that too much like dipped in tone? Giving it a rating out of 10? No, we'll just do it. I think that this setup, Jazzmaster, Telly, and a Strat, if you're going for Fender tones, that paired with the Volante, the HX Stomp, this is the most capable setup. I would easily give this guy high 8s. Like I'm gonna be hard. Like I'm gonna give that like an 8. It's just such a serious setup. And now what I would say is you probably would do well to have either a P90 or a humbucker, get a little thicker tones in there. But very cool. Good setup. On this one, the MIJ and the color, they're so cool. There's so much foresight for you to own this guitar now because they're just going to be worth so much more just from here on out. They're just so good. So with this one, man, I prefer maple neck Strats, but there's something about a blue Strat with a rosewood, like my American Pro over here that's behind the title. There's something about that that's just so good to me. So that's where I'll give this one, I'm going to give this one an 8.7. It's just so cool and capable. And what's awesome is like, this is such a good guitar that anyone that's like, man, it doesn't say Fender on it. That's awesome because they're totally missing out and they totally don't get it. This one, we're going to break into the 9s because it's just so cool. Slab board is so cool. The finish is just rad on this Jazzmaster. So yes, I totally dig this. So I'm going to give this one a 9.0 flat. All right. So this one is, what is this? This is a Harley Benton. Is that the company? My brain's going blank. Who sent me this? Rob's Knobs. Okay. He wants to let me know what it's worth. I mean, these are all like really getting up there. I mean, wet finger in the air. But so 5 years ago, I bought a handful of these. We're back to this blue one real quick. Rob just messaged me asking what I think this is worth. I mean, it's kind of wet finger in the air, but they're so hot right now, especially like cool colors and yeah, I don't, $600-700 easy, totally easy. You could get even up to like closer to $1,000. I know like the pink paisleys are around 1,000 now, the 57s and the 58s. Now this is still a Squier, those are Fender, even though they're made in the same place and they're very similar specs. The only question with this is if you've upgraded hardware. So he said, so Rob in Ottawa, Canada. And yeah, man, so here's 3 photos of my 80s E-Series Japanese-made Squier Strat. To my knowledge, it's all original. I do not have the original case, and it's hard to see in the photo, but the serial number is E640525. Yeah, on these, man, I think it's hard. You just have to kind of figure out the market right now. The market's super hot. These are really cool. People are always wanting these kinds of guitars. Cool. What did I give this one? An 8.9? I think I gave this one an 8.9. Not that it matters. This is... Okay, I need to find this one. So somebody sent me this one. Was this Tyler? Was that Not Tyler. Omar? Nope. Nope. Okay. So this one is... he told me and I forgot. I think it's a Harley Benton and it's a bunch of custom options. Just looking at what it is, I know he said that it's a different kind of wood. It's not Paduk, but it's a different kind of tone wood. And he said that he just can't justify spending a bunch of money for guitars that don't have such cool features in different tone wood. So this thing is super cool. I like that Chapman style, like the reverse headstock. It's cool that T-style guitars have gone from like honky tonk Merle Haggard and now they're into like this totally different, cool, like heavy. Like there's so many T-style guitars now that are really heavy. That's funny. So yeah, it says cool guitar looks like a Walrus Audio pedal. That's true. It looks a lot like my Fathom, which is around here somewhere. Very cool guitar. I like this. It's not totally my style, although I do love it. This has Filtertrons, which is awesome. So I think this thing would just sound cool. I also love when you get guitars that are just totally different and unique and they look different and, they don't have that anchor of like so much heritage to them. Really cool. I dig this for sure. Okay, so Ian just bought an E-Series MIJ Squier Lake Placid Blue for $650 on Reverb. Yeah, so I was thinking 7.8. I think $650. I mean, if you're trying to sell it, you can ask whatever you want. But that's awesome. Cool, good work. This is the back of... David says, let's go in another direction. I had in the early 70s had an acoustic guitar made by, get ready for it, Toyota. I'm dead serious. And yes, that Toyota. So I've heard this too. I mean, the same thing, like we buy Yamaha guitars, but Yamaha also makes, lawnmowers and motorcycles. It's just a different philosophy of Japanese business. Because I heard this years ago. I don't know if this is still true, but I used to be in manufacturing. And I heard that the way Japanese companies work is that you would have contracts for your whole life. Like your whole career, you're going to work at a place. But if you get tired of the industry you're in, companies would always be expanding into new industries. And so you could say, I'm really tired of mopeds. And they're like, all right, do you like grand pianos? Go over here to grand pianos and Yamaha. I don't know if that's true, but I heard that when I used to go to, trade shows and conferences in manufacturing. Okay, so this is the back of a Taylor 214 CE Deluxe. This one is a natural top. Mine was a Sunburst. I think these are monsters. These are just such cool guitars. They don't have a ton of low end, but they're not as like bass lacking as other Taylors. I think these are awesome. I think they sound great. I have no axe to grind with the expression system. I think for pickup systems, I think it sounds really good. Yeah. Stephen Whitney just got... I'm good, man. Thanks for asking. I just picked so he says, I just picked up an old Guild from the 80s. It's it's beat up, but it's really awesome and amazing sound. Yeah, old Guilds, man. You can get like a D4 or a D7. Any of those, they're cool and they sound great. D25s, and they're still super affordable. They do have bigger necks. Sometimes they have higher actions. But they're a really good alternative. If you're looking for a Martin and you want something similar, Guild is awesome. All right. So, oh man, I've been looking
I want to talk about one of these. I have a video coming out in a couple weeks that you guys can see where I talk about one of these. So this is is this actually a Chet Atkins? Is that what this model is? So this was made by Gibson. This is kind of the first precursor to an electric guitar style feel that has an acoustic pickup in it. It may be not the first one, but this is probably the first. Like, this is the best it was done in the 90s. Dave Matthews played one of these. I saw him play a long time ago, because he's from Charlottesville. Well, he's from Charlottesville, and I'm from Harrisonburg, so it's 45 minutes away or an hour away. But yeah, so this guitar just sounds cool. And I want to be careful. It sounds super quacky, like that kind of 90s acoustic guitar plugged in sound, but very cool guitar. I also love the stars on this. It reminds me of like the Everly Brothers. It is just so cool. I'm a big fan. So I'm super glad that somebody shared this. Rating this, I'll give this strong mid-8s. It's pretty purposeful. I'm going to get 8.4. 8.4 on this one. I don't know if anyone's keeping track. Doesn't particularly matter. Okay. So now, what is happening? There we go. Holy cow, this is a Collings. Is this a C10? I think this one is. Someone sent me this picture. I think their name is in there. I can't see it. Let me go back to my photos. So I took screenshots because some of them, the pictures were just sent as they were. Andrew TH95. This is his Collings. This is a Collings C10. What, right? Let me confirm that. But this is just a super cool. It's very Gibson L-00. You can see the shape of the body, that really tight waist, that pickguard in particular is very Gibson L-00 style. Very cool guitar, and just sounds great. And Collings, if you haven't played a Collings, you need to like figure out a way to get out of your house and get to a guitar shop that sells Collings, because there are just like everything you love just ticked up a couple notches. You know, very cool, really great quality. And what's cool is Martin is bound because they're building so many of them, and they need uniformity in that brand and that model. And so what's interesting is like Martin, they have to get more wood, and in order to get that much wood, it has to be a little lower grade. Where if you're doing like, hey, instead of doing 5,000 of these, we're going to build 100 of them, all of a sudden you get to buy much cooler materials and much cooler, like the quality gets to be better, and then it'll also be more uniform, which is awesome. So Collings are totally cool. Hey Ian, thank you. I'm glad to have a community of guitar hunters. That's been like the best part of making YouTube videos, and and this is the coolest thing yet of just seeing what guitars people are playing. So this Collings is a monster. This would be such a comfortable guitar, especially right now when you're sitting around so much and people aren't leaving the house a ton. Ooh, yeah, this guitar for me, 9.1. This guitar real high. Ooh, okay, this is 2018. Someone sent me this. This is a Martin 0028, which is awesome because you so rarely see 0028s. You'll see 0018s a lot more common than 28s. 18s, if you probably know this. If you don't, 18s mahogany, 28s are rosewood, and the 28s also have white binding. And so white binding, ebony bridge, ebony fingerboard, just everything is just a little nicer. Yes. And Joseph, yeah, Bill died in 2016. Bill Collings passed away, which is very sad. The world lost a really important guitar builder, but he'd been incredibly gracious, building a great company and teaching people how to pass on the guitars that he was building. His passion project was the Waterloo acoustic guitar. So I have a Waterloo. I love it. It is just a magical feather light, tiny little Stella style guitar. But yeah. But okay, so this 0028 is just a really great guitar. This is a perfect guitar for someone just trying to sit around. Hey Mark, what's up, man? Mark, your guitar's coming up at some point in here. This is on shuffle, so I don't know the order. So just hang around.
But yeah, man, what a cool guitar. Shorter scale, really playable, open gear tuners. This is part of the Reimagined series. So in 2017, Martin reworked the 28 series and they just pumped it up to like full cool vintage specs with still modern truss rod, modern neck profile. These are just wonderful guitars. This guitar is definitely like 875. Very cool guitar. Everyone should, like, I don't think everyone would be into a 00 because they might be too small for, bigger guys. But anyway, very cool. Thanks for sending this in. Oh, here's the back. Here's the back of that Jazzmaster. Cool playware, great neck. Jealous. Cool. Ooh, look at this duo. So this one came in last night and actually looked at this one, and it's a tiny bit confusing. It's not confusing. It's the pick guard. I don't know what's up with that pick guard because it's not. It must be added or something because it's inside one ring. But this is. It looks like a J45 standard, and it looks like there's a pickup in there. So looks like an LR Bags. The white is probably the Lyric. No, the Lyric is tortoise shell. Maybe the Anthem. Maybe this is an Anthem or a Lyric pickup. But anyway, that's a great guitar. I think everyone who is like a professional or like really passionate guitar player should try to own either a D18 or a J45. I think a full-blown mahogany dreadnought is the most inspiring acoustic guitar for most people. They're just fun and cool. And the D18s are a little louder, a little brighter. The J45s are like boomy and jangly and strummy. Sheesh. Shouldn't have sold every J45 I've owned. I always sell them thinking I'll get something else, and I always come back to like, it's just such a good guitar. So yeah. And then what's this? Looks like, I think this is a Highway 1, or a special. I think it's a Highway 1 Telly. So that's nitro finish. The white guard is cool. I like white guards. Maple neck, very cool. This is, Drive-By Truckers and then Lucero. The guy from Lucero like only plays Highway 1s because he likes the nitro finish, and he swaps them out to Duncan Antiquities. Just such a cool guitar. Yeah, looks like an Anthem to me in that guitar. That's what I think it is. I think they've changed. I don't have a guitar with an Anthem right now. I have an Anthem. I have a full-blown Anthem over here that I was going to put into an instrument, but it actually didn't fit. So I need to get a different guitar to put my Anthem in. But, all right, let's click through to the next one. Whoa, there's a bunch going on here. Let's look at that. Oh, it looks like a 335, a Telly. There's definitely some vibes going on here. Like you can tell that this is like a very thoughtful, like this collection isn't an accident. All right, so I'm going to pull it up here so I can see it closer. That's a Honer. How cool is that? A Honer. It's not an oval hole, but that's a crazy thing. It looks like it might have a top crack there. Oh, and then these are a couple Eastmans, right? Oh, I think there's three. There's two Eastmans. So it's an Eastman. This is an E10, I believe. He sent me in the message, but I just took a screenshot. But yeah, kind of a 00018 kind of guitar. No, an OM18 with that tear shaped. So that kind of pick guard, that's one of the easiest ways if you're wondering what's a 000 and what's an OM. That smaller pick guard is very indicative of an OM rather than the full pick guard, which would be a 00018. Man, this is a really good setup. Then there's like a ES335, an Eastman. That's a really good looking finish. Really good smooth transition. How cool. And you play the green Tortex. I played those forever. I like those a lot. That Telly, that's a Reverend Telly. How cool. Is that binding? I think it has binding on it. So that's kind of a Telly Deluxe-y thing. Man, that's a rock and roll machine. And then a good Squire Strat back there with a parchment guard. Looks like the guard has probably been swapped, which maybe even the pickups have been swapped. Man, this is cool because you can get like big jangly guitar, like strummy dreadnought tones out of this thing down. Can it be fancy like this? Can it go like, oh boy, why is my brain not working? There we go.
So like super jangly dreadnought tones, really sweet finger style, and like more singer-songwritery kind of stuff. Then you can get like blues, soul, rock and roll. You can get every tone you need other than those super bright shrill tones out of a 335 guitar. The Telly is full on twang, and then you've got so much cool soul and jangly stuff coming out of the Strat. This is a killer setup. Yeah, good work. 8.9. This is I don't know what you're lacking. Yeah, I don't know what you're lacking in this. 9.0. Or maybe they should stick. Oh, hey, Mark. This is yours. So, Mark Hopkins, who I was on at home with Mark 2 weeks ago. And so this is Mark's Sir. This is an S. I forget which one this is. But just an amazing, great guitar. And is this still set up? He usually sets them up with like 16s and plays super low in what, C standard, I think, or maybe drop C, but just open C, something like that. This is a killer guitar. Hey, Alden. Thanks for joining, man. But Sir is an amazing alternative. Just really cool S-type guitar. Yeah, this thing with open C 17 to 64, you lunatic. That's crazy. But it sounds killer. If you love that Aerial Posen tone, that Joey Landreth tone, that Mark Hopkins tone, you should check this thing out. So it is for sale. Check out him. It's Mark Hopkins Music on Instagram if you're interested. Yeah, and he takes such good care of his stuff. This would be awesome if you're into that thing. This is like where I want to go in my guitar playing. So I'm going to give this one a 9.1. Just high scores today. Feeling good. It's a good day. Oh, here's an ES339. Who does this belong to? This was this is Omar. So this is Omar's it's a 2007 ES339. ES339s are interesting. They really didn't sell that great, and you can find them very affordably. Those, and then there's also the Midtown Custom, which is a very similar size, but I think it's more of a double cut-y thing, even though this is a double cut, but it's just shaped a little different in the Midtown Custom. These are cool. They're about the size of a Les Paul. They're not totally my thing. To me, they're too small. I like those big, chunky 330s, 335s. This is very cool. So, Shine Dog. Hey, man. Yo, this is the first time live. Thanks, man. Yeah, I'm glad to make a bunch of videos. Yeah, I'm now into it long enough that there's a bunch of cool stuff behind me, and you can see. I don't watch old stuff because it's hard for me, like how bad things were. So Alexander, if you want, you can send them to me. I don't think I'll be able to get to them today because we've got 20 minutes left and still have a chunk of guitars, but you can send me a DM on Instagram. So at Jeremy the Guitar Hunter, you can send me a message or yeah. So, I'd love to check out your guitars. So anyway, 339s, cool guitars, not my style. I see the place for them, but I'll give this one an 8.1. Cool guitar, just not my thing. Oh my gosh, speaking of my thing, if there is one guitar that I just want because it is just cool and I loved Randy Rhoads, it would be a white Les Paul Custom. This is just like 100% the kind of guitar that I just would love to have. I've never owned a white. I've owned a white Studio. I've never owned a white Custom. Now this one doesn't have a pick guard. I wish it had a pick guard. If it was mine, pick guard. But this is a super cool guitar. Everything about this. This is an 81. So this is like a real deal. What was it? A 76 was what Randy Rhoads played. But man, what a monster. And there's also there's a gold top, it looks like, and a bullseye, a Zakk Wylde. So these are like primo, real deal, awesome. This one is like a 9.2. Like this is on the short list of guitars that I want to own before I die. So anyway, Alden said beard trim looking right after the ice apocalypse. Yeah, it just got a little crazy. I got tired of my mustache being in my mouth. That was the biggest thing. And then it seemed pretty Amish looking when I trimmed the mustache. And then the big beard, short mustache, which I live in a very Mennonite community. So,
I'd fit in. Just need to ride my bike everywhere. I have a Subaru, so that makes sense. Anyway, what a weird segue. All right. Okay, so this is the headstock of that Lake Placid blue. Yeah, very cool. I like the Squier logo. It's such a funny, it's like so Fender. Yeah, very cool guitars. Yes. Okay, so here's a closer picture. What did I gave this one a high score. 8.9. Okay, yeah, I don't know how it got in there twice. Oh, how cool is this? This is an LG-0. This is a 60s LG-0. Prepare your heart and mind. This might be my lowest score. These guitars look very cool, but they don't sound great typically. And they have so there are a couple things that contribute to them sounding bad. They're ladder braced, and then they have a plastic bridge with big screws that sometimes the screws come loose and then they rattle. So yeah, this guitar they look cool. They're really affordable. They're probably the oldest Gibson most people can afford. They're $750, $600, $800. Yeah. So unfortunately, I'm gonna have to give this one like a 6.5. Just not my thing. Okay. I'll pause. We'll get into these. Ooh, more Les Paul Customs. So Sean asked, what was the Bayou Music Exchange? The Bayou Music Exchange was a guitar shop that I owned in Covington, Louisiana, outside of New Orleans from 2016 to 2018. And it was, a really cool guitar shop. And I made a video about it. And so it didn't die as any result of like modern COVID stuff. I think COVID would have probably killed it. It always had way more of a online presence. It was always way easier for me to sell guitars to people I knew, and I had a big reverb store at that time, and and reverb was a component to why that shop didn't work out, but that's a whole other issue for another day. But anyway, it was a really fun guitar shop. It was right down by the bayous. It was everything around us was called Three Rivers because there are three rivers that come together. The Abita River, so if you've ever had Abita beer, they were a couple miles from us. So the Abita River, the Tchefuncte, Tchefuncte. Yeah, right. You're not going to get that. The Tchefuncte, and then the Bogaflaya. So these three really cool rivers right down in South Louisiana. Very cool. I love South Louisiana. All right. So these two Les Paul Customs. I'm going to make these bigger for a second. And they're turned sideways. I don't know why. Sheesh, what monsters. So let's see right here. Black left-handed Les Paul Custom. You wouldn't call it a Black Beauty because it's not three pickups, but that is just iconic rock and roll, cool. Then down here you have a wine red. I have dreamed of owning a wine red. Sorry, I just saw Tyler. Okay, yeah, Tyler, let's talk about yours. So yeah, LGOs. Hang on, let me turn this off for a second. Tyler, LGOs. Yeah, they don't sound great, but they are. You're totally right. Like that size is such a good. Okay, so you replaced it. Yes. Okay, so you fixed the things that typically that guitar needs, and usually they're just not worth it to like put a couple $100 to put a new bridge on it. But that's awesome. So if yours has a new bridge, it's the perfect size. It's the same as an LG2 and an LG3. Great little couch guitars, fun scale length, really cool. Anyway, yeah. So cool, man. All right, so back here to these. Oh boy, where'd we go? Don't mind me. We're gonna keep skipping through. Okay, we're coming. All right, there you go. Les Paul Customs. And we'll shrink this back down. Put it over here. And yeah, Les Paul Customs are awesome. Years ago, I saw someone I knew had a Les Paul Custom in wine red, and they'd paid someone to paint paisley on it in like a very soft off-white. And it was very subtle across the whole guitar, which
turns out I love Paisley on guitars. But it's always been kind of a dream. Like, that's a really cool guitar. I would love to own a Les Paul Custom. So if you have a Les Paul Custom and you want to trade for any of the guitars I have now, let's make a deal. Oh, let's make these guys bigger. This is a powerful trio. Let me make it even bigger. Okay, yeah, look at that thing. So this is a D18, a 52 reissue, and an LG-2. This might be the absolute best trio that we've seen today. If you're looking at like Americana, if that's like the genre, the lane you're living in, the D18 is the most capable guitar, especially the reimagined one since 2012 on the 18s, just monsters. And then looks like one of the NOS Blues Juniors. Those are awesome. The only thing I would do is I don't like the Jensens in those. I'd swap them out to something a little warmer, a little more low end. So cool. Oh, Chance says you do have the original pickguard for the Les Paul Custom. You go back and forth. Yeah, that makes sense. It's your guitar. You get to do what you want. That is awesome. What a monster. I love that guitar. So back to these. The D18 is awesome. The 52 Tele reissue, if you've done the mod to get the neck pickup in the modern wiring, just so capable. The Blues Junior, the NOS, I would swap out a speaker to get something a little warmer. And then the LG-2, hubba. What a thing. And it's the big guard too, or is it the small guard? Oh, that might be a small guard. That is just a cool setup. This is such a powerful. This is like, I mean, if I walked into a room, this is the setup I would want to have. Sheesh, I think I'm gonna give this one a 9.3. Holy cow. That is just great. All right, let me bring this stuff down. Oh boy, I didn't plug in my computer. I gotta grab the charger. Let me grab my charger real quick. All right, what do we got next? We got 2 more minutes. All right, so this one we've already talked about. This is a modern 214. Maybe it's not a deluxe. Maybe it's just a 214 CE. These are great guitars. They're a ton of guitar for the money. If you're looking in that like $800 to $1,000, I think the non-deluxe versions are even less than that, $700-800. Yeah. I know. Yeah, I missed that Strat too. Bet that Strat is awesome. Oh man, what a thing. Okay, this is one of the Eastman. This is, I forget the model name, but this is one of the varnish series. So this is like a proper lacquer finish. It's basically like a hot rodded J50, J45. It's the DLX Koa. That's what that one is. Sorry about that. Yeah. So yeah, the DLX Koa. Okay, I take everything back. That guitar is awesome. I didn't say anything bad. I don't know. My brain's running. Very cool guitar. But this Eastman, man, what a thing. It is just a really cool, really beautiful guitar. And the finishes are so good. So I agree. So one of the comments was, were the older 200 series way better than the newer ones? Depends on what you mean better. They were definitely worse for the pickup systems they had back then. So if you're an acoustic player playing in church or out in bars and you need a pickup, the older Fishman systems and the older, like the V1 of the Expression system just wasn't super reliable and wasn't a great option for you. So it depends. You take them, you win some, you lose some. I have a 4 series over here from the 90s that is, I think, way better than the newer ones. Yes, I did. Yeah, Alden. So I did. I love your Chet Atkins. I love the Stars. I love Dave Matthews. I give that one a pretty high score, like an 8.7, I think. I'll have to go back and look. But yeah.
So this guitar is just a killer. I think you would be so happy. What's cool is just think about how much better guitars are 10 years from 10 years behind. Like think about like 10 years ago, the best guitar you could get like this is a Blue Ridge. What the BR, what do they call their numbers? Whatever their J45 thing was. But this is like better and better prices and just, I mean, yeah, what a thing. Okay, this one, I'm so excited. This is the last one. So this one is Rasmus. Rasmus is building this guitar. It's a red spruce top, and I'll have to look this up. I tried to remember it. Okay, so this one is an Adirondack spruce top, and then it's African Paduk, which is just so red. Let me just make this thing giant and show you. Yeah, look at that. It's just like bright red and beautiful. And man, what a skill set to have to be able to build guitars. Yeah, that's awesome. So Rasmus, you should be so proud of this, man. Really great work. So yeah, that's it. There are more than I could do, but so many cool guitars. I'll go back and maybe I'll just pay attention and keep track of my scores. I don't. Probably not. But there's some serious monsters in here. So Jake, maybe we'll do that. We'll do this again. I'll rate and review guitars more. We can do a section each week where I do this, or just another time we'll do more. But yeah, let me jump in here and look through some of the questions. So if you want to send me a picture, you can do it through Instagram at Jeremy the Guitar Hunter. You can send me a message. We're done doing them today. My phone is just blowing up. So many notifications. Holy cow. Look, like they just keep coming in. Like Raphael, what a thing. I think that's the American Classic. American Original, is that what they call those? Very cool. So very cool guitars coming. All right, let me skim through here. Yeah, so Jim said he played a J45 True Vintage, and it was the acoustic guitar sound in his head. I've found that true. Those are really great. I had one not too long ago. There's some fun videos on it. And yeah, so okay, yeah, so that's David Daly. That was the his Harley Benton. That's what it was. The Harley Benton, it was the TE90 Blue Blast. Very cool guitar. Very like unusual. You'll never see another one like it. Very cool. Larrivee LO3, the best $1,500 guitar, period. I would agree. I can't believe, I think I am partially responsible for those shooting up in value, because I kept finding them for like $500, and I'd buy them. I'd make a video about them on my Instagram. This is back, I had a different YouTube channel that I didn't think about, and when I got rid of Bayou Music Exchange, I stopped paying for the email domain. It just deleted all the videos, so they're just gone. And I don't think I have the originals anymore. But there's probably 15 or 20 videos that were out there. A bunch of them were on Larrivees. And so basically, I'd make a video on a Larrivee saying, you'd be crazy to not buy this. And then I would sell them. And they went from $500. They went way up. Like, I think by the end, they were way closer to, I was selling them around $1,000 or $1,100. Yep. Let me keep going through here. Mark is a lunatic and plays 17s. You can send me guitars. Talking about my beard. I look Amish. What are your thoughts on PV Classic amps? I have a PV Classic 20 down here, one of the new ones. I love the original PV Classic 20. My favorite of them is the PV Delta Blues 210. I think that's the coolest iteration of that. 10-inch speakers are awesome and just super like tight and focused. And yeah, I like those a lot. You can find PV Classics for so cheap. Now, okay, so they don't sound like a Fender. They will never sound like a Fender. They're never going to be like spanky and bright and clean. They're always going to have kind of a gritty thing, and they're not ever that like bright. So just keep that in mind. you probably could mess around with them. Joseph has a really good comment. So in all of this, one of the really important things is that you need to maintain humidity. So a couple ways that you can do that, and it's more specific for acoustic guitars than electric guitars, but acoustic guitars will thank you for having properly humidified spaces. Get a couple hygrometers. They're really cheap. Like, I think you can get a 2 or 3 pack for $10 on Amazon, and you can just put them around your house. I have one back here on this guitar hanger. I have another one that lives on that shelf. I have another one over there by the sump pump because I'm in a basement. And what I do is, what I do with them is that I do between 40 and 60%. I have a dehumidifier running most of the year because I have too much humidity, and I'm always trying to keep it. In the winter, I can cut it off for a little bit because I want to keep it around that 40 to 50%. So that's a really good thing to do. So hang in there. Make sure you pay attention to humidity. If you live in a house with a wood stove, that is the time to leave your guitar in a case with a really good humidifier. But that's really stressful. Okay. Talking about 210, a bunch of Taylors. Alden. Yeah, Alden will rewatch from the beginning. So good. Yeah. What are some good upgrades to a 200 series Taylor? There's not a ton of upgrades you could do to it. If you were so inclined, you could have somebody cut a bone nut and a bone saddle. I wouldn't worry about it. If you want the acoustic tone, or if you want the electrified tone to change, you could swap out a pickup. If you have the expression system, or if you have the old Fishman box system, you could swap it out to an expression system because they have the ones that mount in the little box that would fit on the side. You could also just switch out to an LR Baggs, an Element would be awesome. Super percussive, lots of bass in that pickup. Yeah, Chance. Yeah, I'm glad I got to check out your stuff. Ian, please go check out some shirts. Tommaso. What are your thoughts on the Reverend Charger 290 LE Gold with Bigsby? Yes, you should get that guitar. P90s are awesome. Bigsby's are awesome, but they can drive you crazy, so be careful with that. Gold guitars are awesome. Reverend guitars are just really great quality. They're doing the best that I know, like other than like Orangewood, of design a guitar in the US, have it built overseas, and then when it's here, get it all together and just run it through its paces, get it set up really well, get it playing great. I've been wanting to buy a Reverend for a long time, and I don't see a ton of them. I still, I live in the Shenandoah Valley, so there's not a huge, there aren't any guitar stores around. I think the closest Guitar Center is like 2 hours. So we just don't see them. But yeah, thoughts on the 70s Takamine lawsuit era? They're really good guitars. Sometimes the action gets pretty high. They're cool. There are mild ethical things. It bugs me as a Martin purist. It bugs me how straight up their logo is Martin. But it doesn't kill me too much. Holy cow, Emil. Just received a 1956 Dan Electro from Russia after a year-long negotiation. Holy moly. Yeah, well, whether you did or didn't, it's yours now. That is cool and crazy. HPL lives like countertop. That's the material for Martin X series. I'm not a fan of the Martin X series. If you do get an X series and a solid top, just make sure it has binding. That's the biggest thing, is that they're just real susceptible to corners. Yep. Do you work with other gear? If so, how do I reach out to you? Do you work with other gear? And if so, yeah, I work with all kinds of stuff. So you can send me a message through my website. Go to the Let's Talk on my website. You can, that's an easy way. You can send me an Instagram message, but going through the website is the easiest way, because that way it lives in my email address and I can come back to it. Also, hey, this is a total, someone ordered a shirt for me a couple weeks ago, and I got orders mixed up. Someone got 2 shirts. Somebody got 1 shirt, and I can't find it in my email. But if that was you, let me know. I'll send you the right size shirt. I think somebody needed a medium, and I sent them 2 larges or something. So, whoops, sorry. I'll make it right. Just let me know. Yeah. So, Drew, love the new D18. Me too. And you bought a D15 about a month ago. Man, D15s are awesome. That was my first Martin. I was 14 or so when I bought one. They're awesome. They're great guitars, super boomy. It'll be really fun to play around with a bunch of different kind of strings. Like that's the biggest, like different strings, different picks, and you'll find that guitar is so diverse and so capable. Eric Fonseca says, let's see, Tommaso, you do have it and you love it. Awesome. That's the best, man. I'm glad you got it. Early 2000 Okay, yeah. Jake, sorry, I didn't see your question, but I responded to it down below. I like HPL. It's good and durable. There are certain times that it would be really good to own a guitar that is like all HPL, all laminate, like the Martin LX1. I used to have an LX. No, the one means solid top. I had an LXK, so it was Koa print. I had that guitar. I hiked every mountain in Colorado. We did the collegiate peaks. I brought that guitar with me most of the time. Very cool guitar, and they can live in like crazy environments and they're not messed up by humidity. So I would check those out for sure. They're very cool. What was the I don't know if Shadi's still here. So Shadi in Cairo, Shadi has a D28, a reimagined D28, and then he also has he just got a Gibson Hummingbird a rosewood one. A hummingbird or a dove? I think it's a hummingbird. And he asked me which one he would keep, and I told him to keep the Gibson and to sell the Martin. Because I think the Gibson, those are just so rare. They're so cool. Like, you don't see anyone else playing them. I usually steer towards, like, more cool, more unique, less people playing the same thing I'm playing. Eric Fonseca asked D18 or reimagined. The D18s before 2012 are kind of dorky dads at a cookout with New Balances and like knee-high white socks. But you can tell they played ball in college. Like, you know that they're good and they're capable, but they're just a little dorky. And so I think the D18s, they just gotten a little like frumpy. The bigger Grovers, the foil logo, the sticker inside the guitar. That's the one that really gets me, is the sticker on the back. But yeah, so that's the one that I think there's just so much. They just came so clearly into their own. Midlife crisis. They came out cool, fit, trim, healthy, well-adjusted. They went to therapy. You know, like the modern D18s are really good. Yeah, so it's the Hummingbird with rosewood back and sides for Shadi. Yes. What a great guitar. Hey, somebody bought a shirt. Awesome. Yeah, so I just finished, Joshua, I just finished rating guitars. I did probably 30 of them. So we'll do more in the weeks coming up. This is really fun. I'm just running through it, just a couple more questions. And, Chris, left-handed 78 Guild D40. Guild D40s are awesome. Late 70s are still really good. I think Guild is probably the best American acoustic guitar during that time. Who else? Yeah, the left-handed part is obviously tricky, but if you're left-handed, man, you have such few options. Who's calling me? I don't know why my phone's not on Do Not Disturb. But yeah, D28 or HD28. If you play bluegrass, HD28 has scalloped braces and forward shifted X bracing, so it's a little louder. D28s, I mean, you can't lose with either one. If you like the aesthetic of herringbone, that's really helpful. They do sound different. But yeah. So Chris, yeah, it doesn't have a scratch on it. That's awesome. Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's great. The LX1, the sound is just a little too boxy. Bought a GS Mini. GS Minis are monsters. Like, I think there's no comparison. Probably the closer comparison in the Martin world, and that's probably why they brought out this model, is the Dreadnought Junior. But I would still take a GS Mini each time. Best small size guitar around $1,000. I'm assuming this is an acoustic guitar. This is Raphael. Larrivee, like an L03, or there's a bunch of options. There's a bunch of cool options in there. Martin 0015 would be great if you could find a Guild, but you're not going to find a Guild at that. Like a couple $100 more, you'll find a Guild. Triple O's are cool. Triple O 16 would be great in that same kind of price range. You got plenty of cool options. I really like James Trussart guitars. I haven't played one in a couple of years. There was a dealer in Houma, Louisiana, like pretty far down south in Houma, that used to sell them that I liked. Jack the Rabbit says, why do you think guitar players need validation of their instrument purchases? Sheesh, what a killer question. All right, so that should be the last question. Let me think about this. That is so good. Well, the truth is, we all need validation on many of our purchases. Because you don't necessarily just buy the thing that does the thing you need. You buy the thing that people will see you. Like, think about lawnmowers. Think about how many people have zero-turn lawnmowers that have zero need for it, but they know that their neighbor, Bill's going to see me riding on this zero-turn, and he can't afford that thing. I think that there's a strange... So because music is by definition like a creative thing and a vulnerable thing and a personal thing, that's scary. And I think the flip side is we need the validation. We want the validation of people. We want people to look at us and think that we have it together and that we're a professional and that we're creative and that we're talented. And so, a lot of times, yeah, that's a really good question. Really good. I think it's tricky. I think you have to work really hard. Like, I think if you are creating music for validation, you got a problem, man. Like that's a real problem. That's such a good question. I want to think about that a lot more. Why do guitar players need validation for their purchases? Maybe it's not validation. Maybe it's justification, like justifying spending $2,500 on a guitar when you're not that good of a player, which I don't mean to judge. Yeah, you want to validate. So we spend money. The brands that connect with people on like a core level are brands that give people a new identity. They help them see themselves in a new way. So Gibson is at the top of this list. And what's interesting is, so I had that video, why Gibson is losing guitar players, and there are so many people that are funny that they're like, you're totally wrong. I disagree with everything you said. And I've had a Gibson, and they keep saying all this like identity language. I've owned a guitar because I'm a professional and I've played for 30 years and this guitar has made me, blah, blah, blah. The thing is, they're proving my point. They're proving my point that people that play a Gibson guitar believe that they're a professional, that they're a better musician, that they are better prepared, whatever. And I'm just saying that great brands do that. So that's a really good point. Like I said, I want to think more about that. All right, I'll do one more pass through here, and then I'll play guitar for a minute, and then we're out of here. Well, maybe I'll do announcements. One more question in. McDowell County Young Life says, C.S. Lewis said that jokes are best enjoyed with friends. R2. Buying gear is relational in its healthiest form. That's true. I think one of the base instincts of humans is to connect with each other. We need each other. We set our moral compass based on each other, on like what we should value and what we should do. And so that's really true. Man, we've gone into some deep waters here. Simple. I'm insecure and I don't have enough knowledge. Oh no. Original or modern collection SJ200? I mean, you can't lose with either. SJ200s are awesome. I'd love to own one. But, okay, with that said, announcements. So this has been so fun. Yeah, this has been super fun. I've had so many more than I could respond to. I love giving just my feedback, and hopefully it didn't hurt any feelings, with your LG-0. I'm sorry. But yeah, this was super fun. Thanks for hanging out. I hope you have a great weekend. I hope your heart is just topped off and you get to just have a great weekend with your family, with your friends, and maybe you're getting vaccine. Maybe you get to go hike in the woods for a bit and you start to enjoy some of the warmer weather. So anyway, okay, hold on. So How's my D41 going? I love my D41. I'm ready for it to have a neck reset. It does not stay in tune. Like, it doesn't intonate well at all above the 3rd fret. So I'm ready to get that guitar going. But I'm really excited about it. It's a really cool guitar. You should always buy up from your ability level just a bit when you sound better and play better. It's true. It's true. A guitar that plays better and sounds better inspires you more and you'll play more. That's totally true. Hey! You're on your way to get the vaccine right now. Congrats. That's exciting. I'm in line to get it at some point here in Virginia, but it's been a little crazy. But anyway. So, hey, we talked about the Fender Paramount series. I think they're really good. I haven't played too many of them that intensely, but anyway. All right. Perfect. Well, this is so fun. Thanks for hanging out. Have a great weekend. Go to the website if you want to buy a t-shirt. If you want to support the channel, become a patron. Patreon.com/guitarhunter. I don't take it lightly that you guys spend your time. I think that that's a really important thing. Like, you spend time like you spend money, and you don't get time back. Like, you can get your money back out of some things, but I really appreciate that you spend time with me. Thanks for this. It's been really fun. Have a good weekend. I'll see you later. Where did that song come from? Something weird is happening here. Maybe this cable is bad? It is! That's what's happening. I thought I was going crazy. I wasn't getting enough overdrive. Okay, well, anyway, super fun hanging out. I'll see you later. Have fun. You guys are the best.